Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Nerd Collision. I'm Eddie, that's Ray, that's Brandon, and today we are going to be giving our review of Miss Marvel Episode 5, Time and Again. Guys, that was good. Come on. That was good.
Sickening.
That was...
Perfection, honey.
Flying in there, the little light show crystals, everything.
Alrighty, guys, and this is going to be our spoiler review. So if you have not been able to watch this episode of Miss Marvel, that's okay. Pause this video, go ahead and watch the episode, come back here and listen to our review. With that being said, let's go ahead and get right into this. And this recap is being brought to us by CNET.com, and it was written by Richard Trenholm. And we are starting out in this episode with the chaos of partition. At a crucial moment, Kamala's magic being gold transports her to the chaotic night during which India and Pakistan violently separated in August 1947. But the show then flips back again, this time to 1942, which is kind of an awkward segue, but let's roll with it. The history is filled in by an old-timey newsreel, which is how people used to find out what was going on before 24-hour rolling news channels and celebrities tweeting. A few years before partition, British colonial oppression has turned the people of India against each other. On the run from British soldiers, the royal clandestine Aisha encounters Hassan. Hassan is a gentle farmer and follower of Mahatma Gandhi's doctrine of nonviolent resistance against British rule, and the couple soon welcome a daughter, Sana. But as the country burns, they're forced to flee. Unfortunately, Aisha is also pursued by her fellow clandestines, interdimensional jinn led by Najma. Aisha's name means she who lives, which seems like tempting fate when she confronts Najma in the packed train station. The oft-repeated family version of the story involves Aisha disappearing while saving her daughter's life, but it turns out the bangle has brought Kamala back to this fateful moment to fulfill that role. It was actually Kamala who created the trail of stars that guided Sana back to her father, bringing her full circle and intimately binding the 21st century teenager with her family, her past, and her heritage. This is a great use of fantasy to explore very real emotions and truths. The show may be about a relationship between a regular guy and an interdimensional superpowered being, but as Sana explains, it's still a tale of two people who fell in love and created something much bigger than either of them could have created alone. Conflict arises when jinn and humans, and the other humans hunting them, fight against each other. With her cross-cultural combination of different backgrounds, Kamala represents hope for the future. Crucially, Kamala gets to live the events that shaped her family, her country, and the world built on that history. Grainy newsreel makes these past events seem very distant to us now, living so far away and in a new century. But history is very real, and that generational trauma shapes the modern world. Anyway, time to get back to the future. Having saved her grandmother, Kamala snaps back to present-day Karachi to find a weird glowing portal opening in the air. This is the Veil, causing the clandestines to rejoice about finding a route home. Except, no, they don't. Now we'll go ahead and break right here, but this is a very interesting backstory. I loved seeing the interaction between Aisha and Hassan. It was honestly just too cute. I was really enjoying that, and getting this history lesson. You don't really see the story of the partition in India and Pakistan displayed throughout the media, and I think the way that they crafted that was done very well in this episode. But what did you guys think?
I loved it. I love the backstory. I love we get to see her grandmother and her grandfather, her great grandmother and grandpa, how they met and everything. I like that we're getting this history lesson. Like I said, like this stuff isn't really taught in regular public schools.
Hmm.
And I love that we're getting that, colonizers going to colonize. There's no surprise there. But I'm loving that we're getting to hear this that we never heard before. And just a segue, just for a moment, a lot of history has been like, either not talked about or suppressed. I just want to I'll give an example. Like I didn't know about Black Wall Street until we saw the show Watchmen. Like
Right.
that kind of really opened my eyes. That and Lovecraft County. That's not a story that was ever taught or learned about. And so I give kudos. I think they've been really respectful of Muslim and Pakistani, like culture. So that was really nice to see. And seeing Kamala, it's not something you want to think too hard about because how could Kamala have gone back in time? How can she have been a girl in the story if she wasn't born yet? So that type of stuff I don't think too hard about at this point with time travel. I see enough time
Hmm.
travel movies to not overthink it. But that was nice to see for her to play such a significant role in her grandmother's story. Again, was nice to see as well. And I like that again. I like that we're getting the history and also seeing them, deal with the fallout of it. Like I said, Indians turning against each other and this
Hmm.
whole greater divide thing. So it was nice to see that play out. And yeah, it was very nice to see. Also to jump back to the present time and the veil, and now that was crazy. Now, when the veil opened, I was thinking, okay, are we going to see them like cross over and like to their world? Like, what's going to happen? But clearly, that was not the case because they turned into to stone and dust. But so it's like we jump back to the present. Action picks right up, and it was really exciting to see. The visuals were great, and there's one thing I wanted to talk about too. It's like I love that what you talked about in the last review, the whole message with what you think is seeking you. For me, what I guess that means is like finding like the underlying theme of this episode was what we've been like kind of like building up to with the family, finding their place in the world, their home. And home isn't really necessarily a place; it's who your loved ones are, being with them.
Right.
So I like that, like given this episode and what it was about, like that made more sense. And to see that, play out again, like it's always with these Marvel shows, like you get around episode 4 or 5, they like to let's gut punch you with like emotions. But it was a very in a very good way though. I say I really love how they carried the show up to this point, and everything up to that point I felt was the pacing was good. Like I said, we really got like the backstory, which I was really happy to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I agree with Ray. This episode was something very unique and special. Once again, Marvel Studios tugging on my heartstrings. Girl, y'all gotta stop. What I really liked is, again, like the history of partition. I never knew anything about it in all my 30 years of existing on this planet Earth. And I'm glad that I was able to get it in the form of a media that I appreciate very much. And it educated me and humbled me a little bit on cultures that I'm not even gonna lie, just be like, I've never particularly been interested in, just because I've just been like so domesticated with all the bullshit. I'm not even gonna get too political, but it definitely opened my eyes a little bit more, and I'm definitely appreciative of the culture that Marvel has allowed this show to present, if that makes any sense. That being said, Kamala, girl, I'm gonna need you to do better. Every single okay, every single time that she is in a jumbled ass mess, she ends up they're looking at the stars and stargazing, and that, like, don't get me wrong, I love this little flashback episode, but it has to be at the worst times. You could have done this while you were sleeping. Like, you could have done this at any other time, because I'm guaranteed they're not tricked. Like, how did it happen again? Like, I think what's her face, like, struck it or something like that.
Yeah, like she came at her and like left her like
They tried to stab her hand or something.
she got the bracelet and there's like everything like pop. But more like when she came back at the very moment she like
Hmm.
left. So like it's like no time had passed. We weren't like whether or not her body was actually still there or not. So I think she was like fully transported, but she came back the instant like she left. So like nothing really happened.
Right. Right. And that was interesting to me, but I just feel like sometimes, don't get me wrong, I love Kamala Khan, but her head is always in the clouds. And I'm just like, girl, get it together. Like, come on, at your age, mama, you should be focused on the future. And she's always, no pun intended, looking at the past. And she needs to stop. But enough reading her. I'll let Eddie continue because there's someone particular I want to read. So go ahead, Eddie, finish up.
Alrighty, guys. With that being said, we'll go ahead and move into the second and last half of this episode. And in this section, we're going to be lifting the veil. Now, Najma again renounces Kamran, but his name is the last word she utters as she sacrifices herself to the veil. This abrupt death is a bit of an anticlimax, as Najma was a conflicted and compelling villain. She's also pretty clearly killed. When it comes to the MCU, where no one seems to stay dead, the makers of Ms. Marvel feel the need to throw in a dissolving skeleton just to make sure there's no ambiguity. After this, however, the series feels deflated. Following the excellent first half, the episode returns to the present and we get to enjoy 3 generations of women reconcile with each other. But story-wise, there's little sense things are coming to a head. And there's precious little momentum building for the final installment. Not only is the villain defeated, but Kamala has saved Sana, closed the portal, and reconciled with her mom. If you didn't know there was another episode coming, you'd be forgiven for thinking that this was the end of the series. The only thing promising to carry the story forward is that cliffhanger with Kamran and Bruno apparently caught in an explosion, which honestly isn't a patch on the previous episode's time-traveling twist. Presumably, we haven't seen the last of DODC or the Veil as we head into next week's season finale. But more importantly, will we ever find out who the shoe thief is? So that ends the episode. And I have to agree with this article. I don't know what's going to happen now that we've defeated Najma and the rest of the clandestines outside of Cameron. I don't know what's going to happen with DODC. I kind of felt that they were going to be an antagonist, not the main antagonist. But yeah, what are your guys' thoughts?
Let me go first, Ray.
Okay.
Let me go first.
So, first of all, Miss Mamas, you abandoned your son so that you could close some fucking portal that I'm sure you could have thrown a Pepsi bottle at it and it probably would have closed. I cannot stand when mothers and fathers, like, where's his daddy at? Nowhere to be fucking found. So you have orphaned your son, conveniently, because that's what him and Bruno were talking about, being some damn stray billy goats, out in the backyard of the farm. Talk about, my mother and been doing. My mother would never abandon me. Guess what, sisterin? She did. She abandoned you. She left you with all that debt, all those bills to pay, no life insurance, and now you're screwed with your crystal hands. What are you gonna do? I don't know. Maybe ask to move in with Kamala's parents, and maybe they can charge you like $250 a month. I don't know. Be generous. Hopefully so. But girl, this is bad. This is what I cannot stand about the MCU. Y'all kill parents like no one's business. It's like all you would just want them to be Annie and saying tomorrow. I don't get it. Stop killing parents in the MCU. I'm sick and tired of it. Even though that mama was selfish as fuck and she was stank as hell for abandoning her son like that. And then saying his name as she died and turned into a goddamn crystal gem and then died. Girl, I am so over it. I'm so over it. Kevin, do better. Kevin, do fucking better. Kamala, girl. Now, yo mama, I gotta read her mama. First of all, Miss Thing, the entire series up until this point, you have acted like if your daughter was quote unquote this superhero or whatever, that you were going to beat the shit out of her or worse. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, you want the night girl? And then you're all embracing her. And maybe it's because your mama was around and you didn't want to beat her ass because your mama was there and you know she was probably going to hold you back. And she'd be like, don't hit my granddaughter. But it's fine because I know how families do. I know how they do. So it's fine. Bruno, child, that white boy can't catch a break. He couldn't be Spider-Man. He can't get no superpowers. And he gets his house blown up by the goddamn material drone bitches. This is terrible. And y'all bitches need to get... I hope she embiggens the fuck out of y'all. I hope she steps on your corpses next week. I can't wait for it. And I'm sick and tired of you. That butch lesbian and that damn queen who was interrogating Ned and them in Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm sick of all of you bitches. Go pick up some litter. Go pick up Thor's shit. I'm sick and tired of y'all coming up in here trying to attack people and harass people for saving the fucking day. Girl, there are people who are vaporizing bitches for fun, and you get bitches are attacking superheroes. Get a fucking life. I am so sick and tired of you hoes. I'm done.
I lost my path. Going back. So that second half, it did feel like it was a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
My thing with Nadia, the mom, she was a villain. There's no question about that. But I still feel that there's like more we don't know about her. I feel like she was so driven to get home, like she became so focused on that, everything else was irrelevant, even her own son. Even though she did call his name, and that somehow gave him the powers too, or unlocked his inner Jen. So that was interesting to see. But yeah, I feel like she was like just really, and we still don't know how they got to Earth. We know that she's been here a long ass time, but we still don't know how they came to be here.
Right.
I was hoping to get more information about that in this episode. Maybe I still felt that that's something needs to be explored. I felt with the last episode and this episode, like learning about the veil and the other world and the danger it could present if it remained, the portal remained open and our worlds blend into each other, all of that. But like, I still don't know the reason that they were all here in the first place and how long they've been here. Like the story, when they showed the flashback the first time, it was like 1942. So we don't know how long they've been in Earth and how long they were looking for the Bengals to get back home. So there's all that. Now that he does have the same powers as Kamala, what does that mean? I think in the comics he was in a human too, but like I said, they're changing the background and origin, so they have to include him too.
Right.
So I'm interested to see how that plays out. Yeah, DOJ is trash. We already came to that conclusion. Like whatever happens, and as I feel like they are going to be like the antagonist, they're going to come after her. And fingers crossed, we get some type of cameo from either Captain Marvel or Monica Rambeau, because I feel like there's going to be some type of intervention to stop them from coming after Kamala, for whatever reason. Again, I think they're expanded upon the damage control much more so in the MCU universe than they did in the comics. So I'm interested to see how that plays out too. Now, about the mom and the grandma. Now, I was surprised at her reaction. I feel that she was going to completely freak out like when she closed the portal or whatever, or the portal closed, she's like say, oh, I was like, oh, they're there. Did she see that? And I was expecting her to have like a much bigger reaction. Maybe she did kind of keep it cool because her mom was there too.
Hmm.
So I'm interested to see how this plays out in the next episode. I am happy that was some type of reconciliation, you know, for the Kamala's mom to finally believe like what the stories that her mom told her were all true. So I'm happy to see there's like some type of resolution there, but I was expecting a much bigger reaction from her about that. Let me see what else. Yeah, so I wonder now. I wonder if she's going to tell the rest of the family on whether or not Kamala is the superhero too. But yeah, I was happy to see. Again, the reconciliation was beautiful. Again, the emotional part, Kamala giving her grandma the picture. Beautifully done. Yeah, I was expecting like you said, a much bigger reaction because up until this point, she's been so on Kamala about choices and the path she's going to take in life. We see like this generational kind of gap between how her mom believes things are done more traditional, and Kamala's like a newer generation, more independent, more free thinkers and stuff like that. So I'm interested to see how this plays out too. Again, we have only like one episode left, so I feel like I said it's going to be a showdown with the damage control people. Hopefully, there will be a cameo. I think that would be a great setup for the Marvels movie coming out with Monica, Brie, and Kamala all together. So I feel like there should be some type of cameo. Other than that, I really did enjoy the episode. I'm wondering again about what's going to happen to Bruno and Cameron. Are they going to be okay? But even though he has powers now. The only thing I was like disappointed in was like, aside from the mom's reaction, I was expected it to be like much bigger. I felt that the episode, and I said this episode felt really short. I felt like it just went by just like that. I would like to see more time. I wish I wish Kamala would have time to talk more to Aisha about Jen, why they were here on Earth, and all that a little bit more. So I definitely wish the episode was longer. But I said that's the whole thing with Marvel. There's like these 6 episodes, and I hope we can get past that point. I think there's again at least 7 or 8 episodes. Cause I think it's more if you make an episode too longer, there's more opportunities to let's give like the stories have been good. It's not that they haven't been good, but it just hasn't been enough. Like that's the thing. I want more information. I want, like I said, if you're changing Kamala, especially with this Marvel, if you're changing her origin as far as her powers are concerned, I think more detail could have went into expand upon that. If you're gonna go up this route of her being a Jen and the Jen being from another universe, like I said, we have 1 episode left. So wherever we get in the next episode, that's going to be it until we see her again in the Marvels. And I hope it's going to be enough. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a good episode, but still at the same time, still want more information about the Jen and their universe. And if it's possible for them to get back to the universe. Now, we've only seen one Bengal. Now, if it's possible, now would it have made a difference if there were 2 Bengals? If there were 2 Bengals and they have both of them, could they have used that to safely cross from their our world back to their world? It's like little things like that. I would like to have been like more information, and as far as just expanding the story. But other than that, great episode. I'm looking forward to seeing the last one.
Alrighty. Yeah, sounds good, guys. And before we wrap up, getting into our final thoughts, I agree with what you guys were saying as far as the episodes needing to be a bit more longer. We need more. I'll take 8 episodes. I'll take 10 episodes. I definitely want to learn more about this dimension that the Jinn come from. who's the head Jin? Like, is there a king Jin? Is there a queen Jin? Like, where are these people like resonating from this other dimension that we don't know about? And then on top of that, who is in charge of damage control that is like specifically going after what seems to be like these younger superpowered heroes? So I hope we get to see that coming up in this final episode. But other than that, do you guys have any other final thoughts?
Listen, I'm very excited for what's happening next. I said, have a long episode. I hope the episode is longer and we get more information. I think I said a couple of reviews back that when we found out that they were Jin and they were from a universe, this was like something like, did they ever approach Doctor Strange with, like I said, I mean, the way they went about trying to open up a gateway home to their world is very dangerous. So I do wonder if they had ever came across Doctor Strange and reached out to him for or the Sorcerer Supreme, the Ancient One, while she was still alive at any point, try to get back home. If they've been here all this time, I feel like that's something that kind of falls under the the mystic category.
Right.
I wonder about that. So primarily, I just wanted to say I know we're gonna get Kamala in her standard uniform. I'm looking forward to that. But as far as what I'm hoping for, just like I said, she's come a long way in these episodes, and we're getting control of her powers. She's making progress. I want to see how much Cameron. Like I said, he's kind of known all along, so I'm expecting him to be much more adaptable to it than Kamala was, since he knew about it. But just some more information, as much as we can get in the next episode. Like I said, this is going to lead into the Marvels and probably something else in the MCU. So whatever information they can give us as well, it's a good story. I'm looking forward to that.
All righty.
Well, to provide Ray with some clarity and everyone else, we don't need too much context. It's very clear that we're going to see Brie Larson in this finale. How? Well, because Disney Cruise made sure to spoil the goddamn ending of the fucking show before the finale came out. Oh yes, if you guys didn't see the clip, it's there on Instagram. You're free to go and look for it. But we have our Kamala Khan in her full geesh with the Avengers doing their thing. And it was really upsetting to me that they would even reveal this prior to the finale coming out. Y'all could have came up with something else. Y'all could have showed this after the finale or the day of the finale airing, if y'all had a little ship or something going out. Girl, this is just some bullshit. I'm sick and tired of being spoiled prior to, and I'd even go looking for this, mind you. It was just really upsetting, but it was anticipated. Anybody who went into the show knowing who Captain Marvel is, Miss Marvel, obviously they're going to cross paths at one point, right? So it was to be expected. But to be spoiled like that, and it's looking like she's going to be the first young Avenger introduced into the fold. That's great and everything, but Kevin, come on now. That was really upsetting to me as a fan, and obviously you're not in charge of everything when it comes to marketing and stuff like that. I'm sure, if you had your say, you would have been like, no, don't play it before, the end of July or something like that. But it is what it is. So.
Sheesh. I knew nothing about that. That is wild. Wow. They have to do better regarding these spoilers. That is really crazy to me.
I saw it, but I saw Ant-Man was Sam, and I think I did see Kamala, but I didn't see Brie Larson. I didn't see the whole thing. So yeah.
Yeah, it was just really upsetting. And this isn't from the Miss Marvel show, by the way. This is just a separate entity, and I'm sorry for if I spoiled anybody, but just to without giving up too much of what I saw, it was just basically like disrespectful and a slap to the face of everyone who's actively watching the show, anticipating, a proper ending to the story, so that when they saw that, they could be like, oh yes, that makes sense now. So yeah.
Oh boy. My, oh my. Well, guys, with that being said, we'll go ahead and wrap up this review right here. But thank you all so much for watching this episode of Nerd Collision and our review of Miss Marvel episode 5. Please remember to like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let us know what you guys thought of this episode. Also, remember to click the bell button for notifications so that you know whenever we have new videos here on the channel. And please follow Nerd Collision on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. But once again, I'm Eddie. That's Brandon. We are Nerd Collision, and we'll see you guys here next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.